Buckle up, folks, because today we're diving headfirst into some serious Formula One drama.
Ooh, yeah. Sounds like fun.
It seems the seemingly unshakable partnership between Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes might be on the rocks.
That's right. Yeah.
You guys have sent us an absolute mountain of articles and snippets, and one thing's for sure,
What's that?
there's way more to this story than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely. This is a story with layers. It's all playing out right there in front of us.
It's like a slow-motion train wreck you can't look away from.
Yeah. And we've got a front row seat, don't we?
We do. We've got inside whispers. We've got strong opinions from people like Toto Wolff. Even Johnny Herbert's chiming in.
Oh, he always has something to say.
He does. And then, of course, there's Lewis himself.
Speaking in riddles.
Speaking in riddles, so that's the big question we're tackling today. Is this just a minor blip for a legendary team and driver, or is this the beginning of a messy, very public breakup?
To answer that, we need to rewind a bit back to the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Ah, Brazil.
The tension there was palpable.
Yeah, you could cut it with a knife. Hamilton had a race to forget the car was all over the place, and his frustration.
It was clear as day, wasn't it?
It was. He even said, and I quote, "With the car I have right now, it's the worst I've ever driven."
Wow. Now, that's a hell of a statement coming from a seven-time world champion.
Especially from someone who's used to driving those dominant Mercedes cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It gives you a glimpse into the pressure these guys operate under.
It really does. And you can't help but compare his performance with George Russell's in the same race.
Oh, yeah. Russell even led for a while there.
Exactly. Which suggests the car wasn't a complete write-off.
So was this a case of bad car setup for Hamilton?
Well, Mercedes engineer Andrew Shovlin tried to explain things.
What did he say?
He talked about the impact of sprint races on car setup.
Right, those shorter races on Saturday.
Exactly. He said with limited practice time, getting the setup just right can be a bit of a gamble.
So maybe they just rolled the dice and it didn't work out for Hamilton.
That's one way to put it. Shovlin even mentioned some not obvious issues affecting Hamilton's side of the garage.
Interesting. But even with those explanations, Hamilton's post-race radio message.
Oh, yeah.
That really sent shockwaves through the F1 world.
He very subtly hinted that this might be his last season with Mercedes.
Cryptic, isn't he?
He is. And that cryptic message fueled all sorts of rumors about an early exit.
It's like he poured gasoline on a bonfire.
It was. And it wasn't just that one comment. He also made some remarks about the W15.
The Mercedes car this season.
Right. He was practically counting down the days until the season's over.
Doesn't sound like a man who's loving life right now.
Does it at all? So how did Mercedes react to all of this?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Well, they confirmed that Hamilton is staying put for the rest of the 2024 season.
Okay, so no dramatic exit mid-season.
No. But get this, he's reportedly already signed with Ferrari for 2025.
Whoa, hold on. So he's out the door at the end of next year.
Looks like it. The Ferrari move, the rumors have been swirling for a while.
Yeah, but now it's really starting to make sense, doesn't it?
It does. Hamilton's frustration, Mercedes' reaction, it all adds up.
It's like a puzzle and the pieces are finally falling into place.
Exactly. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's bring in another voice to the mix.
Okay, who are we hearing from?
Former F1 driver and current Sky F1 pundit Johnny Herbert.
Oh, Johnny. He never shies away from controversy, does he?
He does not. He's been pretty vocal about the whole situation, pointing out the car's inconsistency this season and how that might be impacting Hamilton's performance.
I mean, that's got to be frustrating for a driver of his caliber.
It must be. And Herbert said something interesting. I think it was, Lewis Hamilton can't wait to get to Christmas.
Oh, wow. He really said that.
He did. Sounds like a driver who's mentally checked out already, planning his escape to warmer climates.
Both literally and figuratively.
Exactly. And he even hinted at some potential favoritism within the team towards George Russell.
Ooh, now that's a bold statement.
It is. And it brings us to an earlier chapter in this whole saga. Remember when Mercedes blocked Hamilton's initial attempt to join Ferrari?
Yeah, after the Abu Dhabi finale?
Right. They cited his obligations to the team and some diplomatic duties.
So back then, it seemed like Mercedes was holding on for dear life.
They weren't ready to let go of their star driver.
The guy who helped build their dynasty.
Exactly. But then they turn around and promote KIMI Antonelli, a driver who hasn't even completed a full season in Formula 2. He's replacing Hamilton.
That's a big gamble, isn't it?
It is. It reminds me of Red Bull's move with Verstappen a few years back.
A young driver with potential, but unproven at the top level.
Exactly. So are Mercedes putting all their eggs in the George Russell basket?
Hoping he can lead them into a new era?
Maybe. And what does that mean for team dynamics with a young, hungry teammate like Antonelli?
Ooh, things could get spicy in that garage.
It could.
Yeah.
It's like a real-life game of musical chairs.
At the highest level of motorsport.
That's it. But we haven't even talked about Toto Wolff yet.
The mastermind behind Mercedes. This is going to be good.
It is. Toto Wolff, he's the one calling the shots at Mercedes.
And he's been pretty open about this whole situation, hasn't he?
He has, which makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, he's given us a real peek behind the curtain.
He has. He's admitted that Mercedes knew they were taking a risk with a short-term contract with Hamilton.
Right, because he could just walk away at the end of 2024.
Exactly. He even called it a 1+1 agreement.
So they knew there was a chance he'd jump ship.
They did. But how did they react when it actually happened?
Well, Wolff's used the word betrayal.
Ouch.
Yeah, he's pointed out that other drivers like Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc have already committed to their teams.
So that leaves Mercedes in a tough spot.
It does.
Yeah.
They need to find a top-tier driver, and fast.
And all while Hamilton's off planning his Italian adventure.
It's got to sting a little, doesn't it?
It must. But it gets even more awkward.
Oh, how so?
Wolff said he sent a text to Ferrari's team principal, Fred Vasseur, about the Hamilton move.
Yeah.
And he hasn't gotten a response.
Wow, that's icy.
It is. These are two teams that have been battling it out for years.
Yeah, there's no love lost between them.
None at all. But here's where it gets really juicy.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Wolff knew about Hamilton's departure before it was public knowledge.
How did he find out?
He got a call from Carlos Saint-Cernier.
Wait, Saint-Cernier, the father of the guy Hamilton's replacing at Ferrari.
The one and only.
So he tipped off Wolff about his own son losing his seat.
It's like something out of a soap opera.
Formula One family drama at its finest.
It is. Wolff even said he got calls from other drivers' fathers after that.
So word was spreading like wildfire.
It was. It seems everyone knew except Mercedes.
Ouch. They were the last to know.
It seems that way. But let's rewind a bit to Hamilton's performance this season.
Okay, back to the on-track action.
There were races like the Canadian Grand Prix where it seemed like the team wasn't giving him the best strategy.
Canada. That was a tough one for Mercedes.
It was. Both Hamilton and Russell struggled, and there were a lot of questions about the team's tactical decisions.
Yeah, it felt like they were a step behind the whole race.
They did, and it makes you wonder how that affects a driver's confidence.
When you feel like your team isn't giving you the best tools to succeed.
Exactly. It's an uphill battle.
But then you have a race like Spa.
Where Hamilton won, despite not having the fastest car.
That was a classic Hamilton drive.
It was pure skill and determination, even when the odds were stacked against him.
It shows what he's capable of.
It does. And Wolff's reaction after Spa was interesting.
What do you mean?
It was almost like he'd accepted that Hamilton was leaving, but he was still proud of his driver's performance.
A bittersweet moment.
Definitely the end of an era.
But also the start of something new.
Maybe. That's the big question.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it really does feel like we're watching a major shift in Formula One.
It's more than just wins and losses on the track, though, isn't it?
It is. It's about ambition, it's about loyalty, and it's about the really complex relationships at play here.
Playing out on a global stage.
That's it. This whole saga is a reminder that even in a sport that's all about technology and split-second decisions, the human element is still at the heart of it all.
Yeah, we're seeing a champion struggling with his own frustration.
A team trying to figure out its future.
And a move to Ferrari that would have been unthinkable a few years ago.
Exactly. And what makes it even more interesting is that it's all happening right in front of us.
It's like a reality show, but with faster cars and way more champagne.
Right. Every little rumor, every comment, it all gets analyzed and dissected by fans and the media.
Yeah. So why should the listener care about all of this?
Because it reveals a truth that goes way beyond just motorsport.
What's that?
It shows that even at the very top levels of competition, things are rarely black and white.
It's not always clear who's right and who's wrong.
Exactly. There are always different perspectives, hidden motives, and decisions that can have ripple effects across the entire sport.
So basically what you're saying is that understanding the human element is key to success.
Absolutely. Whether you're on the racetrack, in the boardroom, or even in your personal life.
It's about navigating those complex dynamics, adapting to change, and sometimes making tough choices that might lead to some controversy.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Hamilton-Mercedes saga, we're left with a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, like is Hamilton taking a gamble by joining Ferrari?
Is Mercedes making a huge mistake by letting him go?
And what does all of this mean for the future of Formula One?
These are questions we'll have to keep thinking about as this whole drama continues to unfold.
Yeah, and I encourage everyone listening To think about the motivations of everyone involved, the pressure they're under, and the bigger picture surrounding these decisions.
Because sometimes the most interesting stories aren't about who wins or loses.
But about the journey itself.
Exactly. It's about the complexities of ambition, the bonds of loyalty, and the relentless pursuit of greatness.
And who knows, maybe this isn't the end of an era.
Maybe it's the start of something even more exciting.
One thing's for certain, we haven't heard the last of Lewis Hamilton.
And whatever happens next, it's going to be one hell of a ride.
It definitely will.